Okay, so when we talk about the early history of criminology and what it all means, there's one name that's always comes up in these theories, discussions, whatever. Cesare Lombroso. I hope I'm saying that right. He believed that criminals were somehow different from the rest of us, and that there were indicators that you could use to tell them apart from who was, a normal citizen and, who is a criminal. He thought that you could tell that someone was a criminal or was going to be a criminal based off simple stuff, based off like one head structure or skull structure, the way their skull is. He thought that, hey, this person's going to be a criminal just based off how their skull is, and that there were signs. But today, we know that that's not true, and that you can't base a person to be a criminal just off simple stuff like the head skull structure. Um, and the fact that that kind of thinking, has been criticized for encouraging people about stereotypes and discrimination for years and years and years. But even though he's wrong about the physical differences, there's one question that always still lingers. Are criminal offenders different in some other way than that? My answer, it's a little bit on the line. It's more than a simple yes or no. It's more complicated than that, Modern research suggests that there isn't one single trait that sets offenders apart from you and I, regular people. Oh, sorry. Instead, criminal behavior usually develops through a combination of factors, those being biological influences, physical traits, and social environments. For example, some people may have higher levels of impulse or lower self-control. That doesn't mean automatically that that they're a criminal or some type of threat to society, especially if they're combined with other challenges. Neuroscience has also been shown in that prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that's responsible for decision making. It's not fully developed in younger people. That might help explain why young people sometimes make stupid or reckless choices without fully thinking of the consequences, But biology isn't only part of the picture. Environmental factors also play a major role. Many criminals have experienced childhood trauma, such as abuse, neglect, or unstable family environments. Growing up in these types of communities with high crime rates, poverty, and limited educational opportunities, and also the lack of support from others, can increase the risk for criminal behavior. Because, if you're not really getting what all you need, you got to get it from somewhere. You got to get it yourself. And so that's what turns a lot of people to turning into criminals. So maybe it's not that criminals are fundamentally different from people, but rather that they've been exposed to different pressures, different stressors, and have different opportunities and said other people, or the lack of that said, therefore, opportunities. Mental health is another contributor. While the majority of people with mental health problems are not violent, untreated disorders or addiction can sometimes increase the likelihood of offending. Again, this doesn't mean that someone is inherently different or broken. It means certain vulnerabilities combined in certain environments can push behavior in harmful directions. So, are offenders different from me and you? Not in the way Lombroso imagined, that there is no criminal face, no defining feature that separates them from regular people. What may set some offenders aside and some unaddressed physiological or social challenges. At the end of the day, offenders are not separate species from you and I. They're people just like us. At the end of the day, we're all humans. And we're shaped by our environment, our choices, and our circumstances. And so, yeah, that's all I got.